You want to know a really scary thought, Trojan fans? USC is 3-0. They're back in the top 25, finally, and they're not even close to being as good as they can be. Marvin and I, we're here to talk about what happened over the weekend and what to look forward to going forward with this USC team, because you know what? They're pretty good.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Culkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you are watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to listen to this podcast, just download it to your favorite platform. This show is always going to be free. This show is always going to appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across their app. Download the app today. All right, MVP3, Marvin Powell, he is back. It's Monday. We've got to break down the latest USC victory. That's why we bring in the professional. That's what he's here for. So, did you enjoy the game, Marvin? Let's just start there.
Yeah, after that 3.5 hour delay, because I was ready to go at 3:30 Eastern. I was primed and ready to roll. Had everything I need in my little man cave set up,
Right.
and I was ready to go. So I felt it like the players. I did. It was tough emotionally because I was ready to kick butt at 3:30. But I enjoyed the game. I did. I enjoyed the game as a whole, just because we won, and for the other reasons I'll get into here shortly.
Right. You know, and I'm not sure why everything has to be so challenging for USC. It just feels like it's always that's the case.
Yeah.
You mentioned the 3-hour weather delay. When the game finally kicked off, they should have been like late in the fourth quarter for their original time start. So that's how long it took.
Right.
You add that, the weather delay, the lack of respect that this team gets for beating the teams they should beat and the way they're beating them.
Right.
And you, on top of all that, you got to put the cherry on the sundae. Some of the worst officiating that I ever seen known to mankind.
Yeah, a lot of calls.
As you say, as you know, when at USC, what do we say? Fight on.
Fight on.
So guess what? Bring on Sparty. USC's ready. But it's Monday. You're here. USC's 3-0. Let's talk about the offense. It wasn't great, but it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the running game. It took a little while to get started. The wide receivers, Makai, Jacoby, they do what they do. And then the tight ends. All of a sudden, that's a big integral part of the offense. What did you see? I'm going to shut up now.
You know, I saw our guys do what they needed to do.
Okay.
In our last segment when I was on the show, last time I was on the show, I told you that we had different caliber athletes, and I needed to see that show up, and it did show up. Jacoby Lane was Jacoby Lane, 3 catches, 115 yards. He had tremendous impact with 3 catches. Makai, made plays. I saw our running backs look electric and strong at times. And really throughout the game, they looked good for the most part. I was happy to see Jaden get into the run game. Happy to see that big body, that big, strong quarterback get into the run game. And I was happy to see Jaden have time in the pocket. I mean, if you want to be honest, he was sitting back there just kind of doing his thing, We didn't complete all the passes that we wanted to. He had a few he definitely want to take back. But I thought Eli had a good game. I thought Wayman had a good game. We saw the walk-on
King Miller.
He came in there and averaged like 7 yards a carry on 4 carries, So I was happy from an offensive standpoint. I was happy to see that our offensive line was able to protect the quarterback, keep him up on 2 feet, give him time to throw the ball. I was happy to see our receivers separate and make plays. And Tanuk Hines, this kid's up and coming.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dude.
I've been talking about Prince Strand being the number 3, but this kid Hines, Tanuk, he's the real deal. So listen, with a 3-hour weather delay on the road, in the officiating the way it was, I thought our offense did okay. I thought they did okay. And the bigger thing is, I just see us with the potential to get better, to do more and just get better. And that's what I like. I look at that game and I think we have a high ceiling. We really do,
You hit it. The ceiling is like way up there,
Right.
and they're not even close to touching it. I mean, think about it. USC did not have a passing touchdown in the game, and they still won. And that's Lincoln Riley's bread and butter. We're going to throw the ball, but it was great to see the play calling. I don't want to say evolve, but get better as the game went along, especially in that fourth quarter. You need to clock your friend. You're on the road. What did they do? You talked about the offensive line. They leaned into it. They ran the ball. Waymon Jordan found his groove, and it was like a 6-minute drive to essentially kill the game. They ended up with a field goal, and I guess that would probably be the most disappointing part of the offense if you had to nitpick and say, hey, you know what? Too many drives ended with field goals, not touchdowns.
Yeah, that's right. And you saw Lincoln Riley kind of pushing for it with all those fourth down conversions. I mean, going for our fourth down every single time. That basically told you that he didn't really fear them at all. He didn't fear their defense. He didn't fear their offense, especially. And he didn't mind going for it and putting the team in those situations. And they converted all of them, and they looked good doing it. Like it was nothing, So when you look at stuff like that, you realize he's gutsy. He's confident in who we are and what we have on our team. And I mean, he's willing to take those risks and be successful with it. So, from an offensive standpoint, I would have liked more points. I will admit that Purdue they're a little bit better than I thought they would be. I don't know if they really stopped us so much when we were on offense. I don't look at it like that, but they're better than I thought they would be. I told you in the last episode they wouldn't win any more games. They will. They'll win 2 or 3 more, and I mean that respectfully. They'll win 2 or 3 more. But considering the circumstances, and a few plays that could have been picked off, I thought Jaden played well. I thought he looked poised. I thought our guys made plays, and we got out of that tough situation in that game the way we should have. So
right, you just touched on it. He had a couple of iffy throws. You're like, no, don't do that. But overall, his decision making was great. He was reading the defense, whether on those RPO, run pass option keepers. He watched it. He kept it a couple times. He scored a rushing touchdown. He was making the right decision at the right time.
Yeah, he was decisive with that. You don't know if some of those were keeps or actual reads, but he was decisive with his action, and it was happy to see because that's going to change our offense and open it up moving forward. I mean, we have the potential to have such a strong running game with our backs and our O-line. It'll be great to incorporate him in that, and then obviously how it feeds off the play action. So this, again, for many reasons, we should feel optimistic. For many reasons, we should realize that we do have a high ceiling, and in spite of, again, tough circumstances, we did okay.
Yeah,
in offense, we did okay.
Look, like you said, they were missing a couple of guys. They were missing Prince Strawn. He wasn't available. Brian Jackson, he's the running back you need when you're in that red zone goal line situation.
Yeah,
he wasn't available. So
yeah, and it's weird because think about it. After the bowl game, USC Nation, all of us, me too. It was all about Brian Jackson. He's gonna be the next Lendale White, and I'm not knocking it. This kid can play.
Sure.
This kid, he can play. And now we've barely seen him in these first 3 games, and we're still talking about the potential of how strong this run game is, but how strong it can really be, even without Brian Jackson.
Exactly. And like you said, so you get the run game it just keeps getting better. Get Brian Jackson back. I mentioned the tight ends at the top of the show. Mm-hmm. When you have that type of offensive firepower where you can go to the receivers, you can go to your running backs, you can run mesh plays that turn into screen passes that go for 30 yards. And then all of a sudden you got an athletic tight end that can, go over the middle and get you 20 to 30 yards a catch.
Yeah.
That offense really, really difficult to defend.
Lincoln is using his tight end as a fullback, as a slot receiver. I mean, he's pulling. I mean, he's shifted. They're shifting. It's a masterclass, to be honest with you, on how to incorporate the tight end and use him in this offense. And it's just one more weapon as a position group, because we got a few guys in that group. It's just one more position that we can use as a weapon, and we have been using in multiple ways in the pass game and the run game. And on fourth down, we saw the tight end incorporated. So this is really happening. We're seeing the offense slowly open up and develop slowly. We're seeing different players. We're seeing the scheme. And we're seeing what defense coordinators are going to have to deal with in this Lincoln Riley year 4 offense.
And to wrap up this segment real quick, the nice thing about even when the offense isn't clicking on all cylinders and scoring touchdowns at rapid rates, you got a walk-on kicker that can come in and kick high-pressure field goals and just keep inching that lead bigger and bigger and bigger, doing what you needed to do. So they did what they had to do to win this game under unique circumstances, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Right.
So yeah, you take the win on the road finally, and you come home, you get ready for Michigan State. All right, in the next segment, we're going to talk about the defense a little bit. I want to talk about, were they too aggressive? Were they not aggressive enough? And you kind of fill me in what they did right and what they should maybe improve on. We'll do that coming up next. Quick question for all you college football fans out there. If you could go back in time and you can sit front row at your school's biggest rivalry game, what would you be wearing? Yes, I said hat. What hat would you be wearing? For me, it would be the game. These aren't just hats. These are the same vintage styles that the fans wore back in the 80s and the 90s. This was when Marvin Powell was playing at USC. And guess what? They still go for the same price they did back then. When you use code LOCKEDON, you're going to get your vintage hat for $16.99. Head to gamecaps.com. The gamecaps.com. Grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design and use code LOCKEDON for an exclusive discount, because legends wear the game. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. I could really use one of those right now. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot, and you can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Honestly, I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about crashing out later. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love and be bold. Try something new in-store, online at www.5hourenergy.com or jump on Amazon. Order those today. Okay, Marvin, you called it before we went into the game. You said this defense is going to get at least 5 sacks. Well, they did. And there probably could have been a whole lot more. I mean, maybe up to 10 sacks.
We were on his butt.
We were not calling holding, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, defensively, I saw that quarterback harassed all night. That pocket collapsed. I mean, dang near every single pass play. We were bringing tremendous pressure with 3, 4, 5 guys. A lot of DB blitzing off the edge, but this guy was harassed and hit on every single play. He was black and blue after that game, without question. He's sore right now. I mean, he's tough. That kid's tough,
Absolutely. Because, and I said this to Eric McKinney after the game when we were driving back to Chicago. I said that on George Jarrett's 70-yard interception return for a touchdown, he was the beneficiary of Kamari Ramsey and Devin Tompkins getting to the quarterback at the same time. And it reminded me of that game when USC played Arizona State down in Tempe with Lojack at defensive end. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember who the other player was, but it was the same type of impact. It was like, there's no way that quarterback's getting up.
Yeah. He played tough, man, because Danton Lynn's D came after his butt. Now, and with that said, we look good hitting them. It looked good to see our defensive line and linebackers and DBs hitting them like that. Now, what was a bit concerning, and that's a bit of an exaggeration, because like I said, when you play against a spread offense team, especially Big Ten caliber, they're going to make plays. It's going to be throw and catch. It's going to be running the ball. They're going to make some plays, and they made a couple plays. Ironically, with our guy Michael Jackson, they made the most plays with a USC player. But I saw our DBs in one-on-one situations lose a few times. I didn't like that. And again, they're going to lose. It doesn't mean that they're not good. But I saw them get beat. Sideline plays, end zone plays, and that was a big concern. You want to see us play cleaner on defense in regards to just being able to close out faster on the ball when the ball's in the air and make that play defensively. But, I thought the pressure was really good. Obviously, our safety, Bishop Fitzgerald, came out of here with 2 great plays. Huge plays. And it's great to see our defense tighten up, in the red zone. That's what you want to see. You want to see them, okay, they give up plays, but when it counts, they made plays. We made plays. You know what I'm saying? So that was really good to see. We got to work more on that one-on-one game now with our coach.
And that's what I was going to get to. That's what I wanted to bring up to you. But, I want to remind everybody, one of Purdue's 2 touchdowns in the game was maybe one of the most flukiest plays you'll ever see. Right. And by the way, the officiating and replay officials got it wrong because it wasn't a backward pass. Watch the trajectory. It was a forward pass. Yeah. So, I still don't know how our Gentry didn't come down with it, but that's besides the point. To your point that you're bringing up about the cornerbacks, when your defensive line is creating that much pressure, getting into the backfield, and you know that their quarterback is getting rid of the ball quickly, why would Antonlynn scheme it where your cornerbacks are playing 7-8 yards off the ball rather than maybe cutting that in half or maybe playing a little bit of press?
Well, the attitude is this: give them the catch, but don't give them the big play. Seriously, just let almost like let them catch the ball, but don't let them break away. If obviously if they walk up on the receiver makes one move, the receiver's by the DB. But when you're playing off a little bit, you can look at him. You can still look at the quarterback or the ball in the air. And it's one of those bend don't break types of mentality, if you will. I think, but it's still some type of man coverage. And there were situations where we were just getting beat. And I don't know if that's them being off the receiver, like you're saying, or if it's more coverage. I'm watching the TV copy. It's tough to tell sometimes, but that really, the one-on-one coverage is a little bit of a concern for me right now. But that also could be nothing, and I really mean that. It just could be them making a play and us being off a little bit. As a whole, I thought our defense played well. I do. Listen, they have a workhorse running back who got the ball 35 times last week, and he averaged less than 4 yards a carry against us off 12 carries.
I think what compounded them completing so many passes was the tackling looked a little sloppy. It was poor. I don't know technique wise what was going on, but it just seems like they were getting yards after the catch for contact, and that's I think where they really need to clean it up.
And even in the run game, you saw that there were many opportunities on some run plays where we were in the backfield, we had to tackle, a yard past line of scrimmage, and the guy just ran through it. I tell you what, it was good to see the freshman Jakeem. I saw Jakeem make a few plays.
A great game.
Yeah, that was really exciting to see because again, we forget he's supposed to be a high school senior. This kid's supposed to be in high school right now, and he's out there playing Big Ten football. In the starting rotation for the USC Trojans. So it was good to see him after last game come back and make a few plays, make a few appearances in the backfield. But as a whole, I thought we were aggressive on defense. Our DBs are physical. We could talk about them getting beat a little bit here, but they're physical. In the big game, that will show up for in the win column for us. So that will contribute to us winning games. Having these physical DBs are going to help us in the run game, especially as we have some teams coming up here. Other thing is this: even though we want to tighten up in secondary, I don't see us playing against a bunch of great quarterbacks in the Big Ten, in my opinion, in regards to throwing the ball. This ain't 1998 Pac-12. We don't. I'm serious. You don't have. We have. There are quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Illinois has one. Penn State has one. He's got. But I think our defense. The ceiling is high. That's what I walk away. The ceiling is high because we made splash plays, made some good plays, made a few plays we could take back, but we saw a lot of potential out there. It mixed into a lot of really good playmaking. So I feel very good about our defense moving forward. I think we have high ceiling and good players.
Absolutely. Look, right now after 3 games, USC leads the country in sacks. Total sacks. They lead the country. So I know that was a big emphasis that Coach Lynn wanted to work on during the offseason, getting pressure on the quarterback. Check that box. They're doing that. Now they can take the next step and improve their run defense a little bit more. Not giving up those gash plays where they're getting, especially containing the edge. That was another area where they looked like they were kind of getting a little loosey-goosey out there sometimes.
Yeah, and keep in mind, for a lot of these young players that were playing and the transfer guys, even though they were there, for camp and a bit of spring, I mean, these players get better after each game, especially this earlier in the season. You know what I mean? So, again, when I say we have a high ceiling, we have a high ceiling in combination with, guys who are just going to get better, who are young. We're seeing similar offenses in the spread, but, as it pertains to just, reading keys and filling gaps and just being aggressive and being where you're supposed to be, they'll continue to get better at that as the year goes on.
Oh, absolutely. So let me ask you, what was your favorite defensive play? Was it the big man rumbling, stumbling all the way into the end zone? And the part about it, when he got there, I mean, he was ready to celebrate. And one of the Purdue players tried to, get there at the last second and knock the ball away. It was just insult to injury. Jaw just kind of pushed him away. Get away.
Yeah.
Well, I think teams like Bishop were, game changers.
Yeah. Tell you that first interception by Bishop, I jumped out my chair. I'm sure we all did, because we needed it. It was crunch time, right? But without question, what the internet is calling the thick six.
Yeah, I love it.
My man Jamal Jarrett running down the field again, different caliber athlete, big man running down. He ran 70 yards. So again, different caliber athletes on the USC side of the ball. That's what you want to see. Remind me of the late great Darrell Russell in so many ways. Rest in peace, D. Russ, one of the best to ever do it. Number 96. But no, that was my favorite play. The thick six. It was just, it's because again, what it showed me is that we're different. We got bigger guys, stronger guys, faster guys. Look at the difference. You can't even catch a 350-pound man running 70 yards.
Here's the best part about it. We know he knows how to secure the ball too. He had a thing high and tight. He was protecting it.
Yeah.
Let's put in a goal line play for it. Let's bring back William the Refrigerator Perry. Hand the ball off to that guy. See what he can do.
Listen, if that's what it takes to bring back the fullback, to start it off with Jamal Jarrett back there,
make it happen, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen. Yeah. All right, we got one more segment to go. We're going to talk about, the biggest takeaways, and I don't know how much we're going to look forward, but it's, it can be the battle of the Trojans versus the Spartans coming up this weekend. But let's talk about, before we, get there, our biggest takeaways from this game, what USC can learn, what they can learn from it, and what other teams might take away from it. That's coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than a minute, 60 seconds. Here's the best part. Even if one of your picks misses, Prize Picks invented the flex play so you can still double your money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The code again, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, for $50 off in your lineup. Excuse me, you're going to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets that you can use across the entire FanDuel app. Hello? Make some money. You're going to love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player prop bets, building a same-game parlay, or maybe you just want to jump in the action while it's live. You can do that. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, Marvin, tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from this game? Big picture.
Big picture, it goes beyond this game. When I look at the landscape of college football, whether it's Texas or if it's Georgia or if it's Florida, whoever it may be, I'm seeing major big schools play these lower FBS programs. And I'm seeing them, go through parts of the game where they struggle a little bit. They may pull away in the end, but it's a dogfight a little bit. With USC, we have handled all three teams the way that USC should handle them. I'm not seeing at no point this season have I ever been concerned or worried watching the game because of what the other team's doing to us or how the game is flowing. That's relevant when you look at the other teams that are ranked in the top 15, top 20, as they play these lower teams. And in the first quarter and a half, first two quarters, it's somewhat of a dogfight before they pull away just to win by like 14. My biggest takeaway is, and I think USC fans are afraid to believe they have last year's syndrome. They're afraid to call it what it is. We're a team that continues to separate from a competition. We look different up front. We look different. We look at the totality of the game, of each game, and at the end of it, we look superior to everybody we've played. And I understand the first two teams, but still, other teams were playing smaller teams and not looking that good out the gate. We put up 73, 60, and just had a crazy condition game where we still dominated and at no point looked like we were struggling. My biggest takeaway, I believe what I said to you the first time I was on this show, Mark, we're going to be an 11-1 team. We are.
I'm starting to believe you because it was how Coach Riley handled the fourth quarter. The game was, like you said, USC was really never any threat of losing, but it was probably closer than they wanted to be. Again, they were ending drives with field goals, and you got to give credit to Purdue's defense. They were making plays when they had to make plays.
Yeah.
What I saw from Coach Riley this year compared to last year, when USC was in a similar situation, when they had those leads in the fourth quarter and they watched him dwindle away and eventually losing in the last minute, his play calling was better. He started making the clock his friend. And as I mentioned, that final drive where USC had the ball, run. 6 minutes of just, we're going to kill the clock. If you can't stop us, guess what? Even if we don't get a touchdown, we're going to finish it off with a field goal. Now you need 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversions, and you got like a minute and a half left. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So Coach Riley actually, and this isn't a dig at him. This is just him kind of evolving as a head coach, being able to say, you know what? I don't need to pass the ball all the time to win a game. I don't need a passing touchdown to win the game. I can rely on these players that Marvin's talking about, bigger, faster, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line, and now he has a defense that he can lean into when the offense isn't doing what he really wants it to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, call it for what it is. At the end of the day, for us to be who we need to be, every aspect of our program needed to get better. And I think Lincoln Riley would, as a man, just tell you straight up, he's getting better every year. You forget he's a young guy. He's highly accomplished.
He's 42 years old.
You forget how young he is, and he will only get better because he's a student of the game and he takes what he does very serious. So listen, the future is bright. We have things to clean up on the back end of our defense without question. But the future is bright, and USC fans should feel good right now.
USC fans should feel great right now. I mean, they should be celebrating a perfect weekend. UCLA lost again. Notre Dame lost again. By the way, 0-2 and still in the top 25. Get that crap out of here. I don't get that. They should not be ranked ahead of USC, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm okay. Listen, I'm okay with strength of schedule, especially for the team who was in the national title game last year. They're 24. We're 25 now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
look, if we're being honest, Notre Dame played 2, I guess, top 10 teams in their first 2 games. On the road at Miami, they lost a nail biter there at the end, and same thing kind of happened to them at home against Texas A&M. But you know what? Guess what? USC doesn't get any latitude. I'm not giving Notre Dame any latitude. I hope UCLA finds a head coach eventually, but that's not till next year. It's a good time to be a Trojan fan. And I think that streak in South Bend, that also comes to an end this year. It better come to an end. That's all I've got.
Well, we're going to beat Michigan in order to end this year. I already told you that. But yeah, listen. How about those people across town? That situation. Mark, let me tell you something. I went to Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, California.
I know where that is.
We had more people in the stands watching the Birmingham Braves than UCLA had in their game against Mexico State. It was sad.
That's the thing. They have reached a depth that not even when USC was bad, they never got that bad. I mean, yeah.
You know what? And the worst part is, Mark. The worst part is they're gonna go 0-11, and they're gonna play us tough. That's the worst part of it. If I get into a rivalry game, they're gonna play us tough after getting their heads beat in by everybody else.
You just know somehow or another they're gonna find Rick Neuheisel, his son. They're gonna bring back Ken Norton. They're gonna get everybody on that sideline saying like Revenge of the Nerds. Those the nerd frat boys standing there like this. Something's gonna happen in that game because it's a weird game. But I would love for UCLA to come in when USC and UCLA play this year at the Coliseum, the end of the year. I don't think I've seen it in my lifetime. At least in fact, I know I haven't. I've never seen an 0-11 UCLA team play a USC team.
You might see it this year because they are historically bad. I mean, that's not even the rivalry in me talking. I mean, they're bad.
And what's really going to be difficult for UCLA to climb out of this hole is the way the game is set up now. All these players on their roster, they've got 30 days to use the transfer portal if they want. Now, they're not going to leave the team because they can't play if they go to another team this year, but they're going to lose a lot of that roster. It's literally, they are starting over. And if you don't have a heavy NIL war chest, which UCLA does not have, and if you can't afford a name head coach that can live and survive in Los Angeles, I don't know what happens to them. I really don't.
Yeah, and you know something? We don't even care.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even care.
That would be a better group of guys.
Yeah.
So, Marvin, the show's over already. I mean, this is how fast this thing goes by.
Yeah.
You are doing such a fantastic job. The fans love you. So, and I love you. I appreciate you doing this. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with another episode of Locked on USC. In fact, everyone, don't forget, Thursdays, go check out College Football TV on from the Locked On Network. They've got Gary Patterson, the former head coach from TCU, the Locked On Network. They'll get you covered leading up into the weekend of games. Don't forget to watch that on Fire TV and on YouTube as well. I'm going to have Marvin back again at the end of the week. We're going to preview Sparty, Michigan State, Trojans, Spartans. That's one of the teams I don't know why, but they always seem to have USC's number. They don't always beat them, but they play them tough. The Rose Bowl, whatever. I think right now it's like USC 4 wins, Michigan State 4 wins, and a tie's mixed in there. We now get to see them at the Coliseum. One Trojan head, one Spartan head. It's going to be like, I don't know, history unfolding in front of our eyes.
At 11 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Yes, you don't have to remind me. I hate these late kickoffs, man. I'm telling you, I am wrecked. When we hang up right here, I'm going to bed, and it's early. It's still light outside.
All right.
Marvin, thank you so much for doing this. I look forward to doing it later in the week.
Me too.
Anything else that comes up, I'll give you a holler. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.